Utah's first trip to the finals gave Stockton and Malone a chance for their first ring. But this Steve Kerr dagger in Game 6 left Malone waiting for next year. Well, next year is now. And Charles Barkley is predicting a Houston upset of the Jazz. It's a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals next. Along with Reggie Theus and D-Line, and Bob Neal with you from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. As I say, it is a rematch of those conference finals that sent Utah into the championship for with the NBA eventual champion Chicago Bulls to win it. This is an interesting game here tonight because in the 4 times that these teams have met previously coming up here in playoffs, they're tied at 2-2. But during the regular season, with all of Houston's problems, the Jazz swept them 4-0.
But Bob, let's not forget that Olajuwon only played in one of those games, and Barkley hadn't really found a way to play against the Jazz yet. Now, the Houston Rockets, they're a veteran team with a lot of great playoff experience, and don't forget that they're a team that has defeated 4 50-win teams on their way to their first championship. Now, you have to, today is the start of a new series, a new league, a new thing, and I guess you can say that's because Atlanta Hawks, they went 4-0 in the regular season against Charlotte, and today Charlotte won their first game.
Yeah, there's another interesting thing here at the beginning of the game for you fans to look for, and that is both these teams start their offenses relatively simply.
Oh, yeah.
Houston takes it into Olajuwon. Utah takes it into Malone. But then is when it gets interesting.
Well, Jerry Sloan said Karl Malone is better this year than he was in his MVP year. He's elevated his game in a big way. Now a legitimate 16, 17-foot shooter. That keeps the defense honest and really makes it harder to double team him. Now, Olajuwon, he causes a lot of defensive problems with the double teams, but the one thing the Jazz worry about more is the thing that's so bad with the Houston Rockets this year. Their three-point shooting has gone down considerably since their championship years. Now, the Utah Jazz are really going to look to take away the post action. That's where Eddie Johnson really could become a big factor in this game because he has earned the right to be called the Jazz killer around here. And I tell you what, this is a game that I'm glad I have this seat because we get to watch 5 future Hall of Famers play this basketball game tonight, Bob.
Yeah, among others, Clyde Drexler. This will be his last playoff series. He's going to become the head coach of the Houston Cougars after the season's over. We'll be back for the tip-off in just a moment here at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City.
This is my last run at the title, and we begin next on TBS.
If you're just joining us on opening night of the playoffs, where you been? Here on TBS, Charlotte beat Atlanta 97-87, 34 from Glenn Rice, 35 for Steve Smith. Right now on TNT, Indiana with a big lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers late in the third period, 76-58. After that game on TNT, you will see the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Phoenix Suns. Coming up next on TBS, Karl Malone and the Jazz taking on Houston. You know the mailman's not going to shave his head for this, not the Rogaine guy. Enjoy it.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. By Fila, featuring the new GH4s. Change the game. And by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City. Beautiful day in Salt Lake City. It was up to about 80 degrees here today. Starting lineups for the Rockets. You notice down in the lower right in our Gatorade starting lineups that Matt Bullard will be starting in place of Mario Elie. That's so he can defend Adam Keefe, and Elie will be available to play the quicker Brian Russell and Chandon Anderson. For the Utah Jazz tonight at 62-20, Stockton and Hornacek, Malone and Adam Keefe, and Greg Foster will start in the middle, and we're expecting to see a lot of Greg Ostertag tonight also. As you notice, Charles Barkley not in the starting lineup. He's been coming off the bench, and he's been injured lately. D-Line, and what's the latest on Charles?
Bob, Charles has been injured throughout the season on and off. Right now, he is bothered by an aggravated hernia. He was able to practice today for all of 5 minutes. The question is not whether he will play tonight, because he will. It is how effective can he be? Even a healthy Charles has his hands full with Karl Malone.
Well, we know one thing, D. His ego is still healthy. Charles said he would play, and in fact, he predicted a Houston upset. Earlier, the unfurling of the Midwest Division Championship won by the Utah Jazz this year. They finished the season with the best record in the NBA at 62-20, and thus will have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. And the Jazz are looking to make this year the year they win a championship. This man has already won 2 titles in 94 and 95. Rudy Tomjanovich says he has no real idea how his team will play, and that's because of all the injuries. Swollen right knee for Olajuwon as an example. Jerry Sloan, my vote for Coach of the Year. There'll probably be a lot of other people who agree. Jerry Sloan just has put together a consistent, relentless basketball team based on the play of Karl Malone. And Hakeem Olajuwon had swelling in his right knee, did not play in the final game. He missed 35 games this year, so his knee conditions will be a major factor. Bavetta, Middleton, Clark, a veteran and excellent officiating crew for the first round, first game, Utah, Houston. Once again, Foster won the opening tip. That's 11 straight opening tips he's
And I'm going to tell you, he hit that one on the way up for sure.
He does know how to steal it. And we've got a foul on Greg Foster, so he wins the opening tip and commits the first foul of the ball game. Matt Maloney playing, looks like he's got a dip at tobacco in his lip. No, that's 3 stitches on the outside and 5 on the inside. He was hit by Brent Price in practice. This is Maloney, 4-3.
Well, right there is what you're going to see from the Houston Rockets. If they can hit their 3-pointers tonight, it's going to be a different ball game than what people are expecting.
Jeff Hornacek into the lane, out to Foster. Foster misses. That's certainly not the shot that the Jazz want to get out of their offense. No score. Nearly a minute gone. First quarter from the Delta Center. We're calling it Jazz Fever. I mean, this town is really, they really believe the Jazz can win the NBA championship this year.
And so far, the Rockets, two possessions, 2 quick shots, no good.
Hornacek misses on the reverse attempt. Nobody's been able to score yet. Let's see here with the quick pass inside to Willis. That was a nice one-touch by Clyde Drexler.
It's one of the best things that Clyde Drexler does is get other people's shots, whether he's on the dribble or you see nice little touch passes like that.
Hornacek being defended by Drexler. There's that turnaround that's been played.
Well, this is one of the areas that Karl has elevated his game. That 15, 16-footer is becoming automatic, and it's a situation that really does stop people from double-teaming him.
Drexler unmolested to the paint. You won't see Utah give that up very often in a ball game. So Drexler gets the easy lay-in right downtown.
Well, right now, you know, Hornacek is guarding Drexler. He's getting beat him off the dribble. He has to be aggressive offensively.
Hornacek with his run. Hornacek's missed a couple of shots already here, leaking out. Drexler, only Stockton is there. Stockton fouls him and 1.
Now, you've just seen Clyde Drexler doing 2 of the things he does best, the quick pass, the touch pass, and then the drive to the bucket. And right here, one of the best things he's always been noted for, 5 jammer slammer, finger roll right into your home.
Clyde Drexler, 15 years, 36 years old. He's averaging 18.5 this year. You see in the playoff, his career is at 20.6. This will be his last playoffs for sure, as he's taken the head coaching job at his alma mater, the Houston Cougars. Went back to college and finished his degree just so he could take that job.
Smart man.
Rockets up 7-2. Malone with 10 on the shot clock. The jumper over Kevin Willis. Olajuwon with a rebound. Jazz come out a little flat here. Willis against Malone is going to be one of the key matchups of this ball game.
Very important for Willis to keep him occupied.
Bullard's in there because he is a 3-point shooter and because he is a better matchup with Adam Keefe, but he missed that time. Here's Stockton. 7-2 Rockets, 9:20 to go, first period.
Early in this game, I get the sense that both teams are playing a little bit hyper, moving a little bit quick, not really in sync just yet.
Ed Middleton with the call. It's illegal defense. That'll be the first call. It'll be sidelines out of bounds. Rudy Tomjanovich, who spent his whole career with the Houston Rockets as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as head man. The Utah's only hit 1 out of 5 early on.
Something we'll be keeping our eyes on too, Bob, is the second shot attempts of the Utah Jazz. Rockets really not doing a great job in that area in games previous to this one.
Malone has both the Utah baskets. It's 7-4. 8:58 to go first period. Looking to post up Olajuwon against the smaller Greg Foster. Kick out. Willis, he has that shot.
That's a big-time shot for Kevin Willis. If he can hit those, it just opens up the defense. The Jazz already have a problem double-teaming them, so if the Rockets can hit from the perimeter, this is going to be a whale of a ball game.
I think the Willis-Malone matchup's going to be a beauty. Started out that way, they both have 4 points.
Well, you got two guys that play power forwards like power forwards are supposed to.
Penetration by Hornacek. Dish to Foster for the jam. First basket of this game, 9-6, Rockets by 3. Going into Willis, posted against Malone this time. You see where Willis can pull Malone out a little bit. With 9, a three-pointer, Drexler, rebound Stockton. Nice pass to Foster, but then he looked up and there came a Keene. So he'll step out and try the jumper and hit it. Foster's got 4. It's a 1-point Rockets lead. Foster a little late getting there, and Olajuwon puts it down.
Foster went to stop Clyde from getting that easy drive, and of course, Olajuwon does have great hands. He can shoot that 15-footer.
Malone is bumped by Willis and loses the ball, but it ends up in the hands of the Jazz. 10 to shoot for Utah. Down 3. Adam Keefe posted against the smaller Maloney, and he gets the bucket.
That's just good recognition on Keith's part. He normally probably wouldn't take that shot under those circumstances, but he has a smaller man. He's got to go for it.
Keith doesn't take many shots, but he's shooting 54% from the field this year. Olajuwon with the pump fake, not his shot. 7 minutes to go, first period. A chance for Utah to take the lead, but Stockton misses the 3. Down 1. Back come the Rockets. Stockton wanted to foul, wasn't coming. Malone into Willis against Malone again. We've seen this out-in-out game from Houston so many times. They have so many options, like that option's penetration.
Well, Matt Bullard had a chance to go into Olajuwon, but the defense made adjustments. He got it over to Clyde. Smart play. Clyde does what he does best, taking it to the hole, not settling for the jump shot.
Stockton gets fouled on the drive. Houston had said earlier, Stockton is well known for setting very tough, hard picks for a little guy. Houston said when he does it this time, we're going to knock his head off. Houston up by 3 with 6:23 to go in the first period. What a year it has been for the Jazz. They're opening here at home. They'll have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. You see their record 36-5 at home. Last year in the playoffs, Utah was 10-1 at home. So this is a place they like to play and like to defend.
Well, right now, the Houston Rockets are 6 for 8 from 2-point shots, and we talked about their problems from the 3-point line. They're 0 for 3 right now from the stripe.
Drexler's got 7. He's 3 out of 4 from the floor. And John Stockton with an opportunity for his first points of the night. If it's at the free throw line, you can pretty well put it in the bank. He's an 83% free throw shooter. This year, as you saw, 12 points he's averaging, 8.5 assists. That's good enough for 5th best in the NBA. And he's still up there among the steals leaders. You know, he's the all-time NBA steals and assists leader. He's averaging 1.36 steals this year.
And some of the things that John Stockton does never shows up on the stats.
And that no-look hook by Drexler intercepted by Stockton right on cue, Reggie.
No question. He's everywhere. He does a little bit of everything for this team.
Malone down to the post. Here's the double team. Foster, 17-footer. Greg Foster is knocking him down, and Utah gets their first lead of this ball game.
Greg Foster is a money man when it comes to playoff time for the Jazz. He's always there for him with the 6'10", hitting the 15-footer.
5 athletic athletic body. Started at UCLA, finished his career at University of Texas, El Paso. Was traded midseason along with Chris Morris for Ronnie Cycli. Trade didn't go, had to come back. He didn't care, he was glad to return as Olajuwon gets the inside basket.
And that jump hook is something that Olajuwon has struggled with in this season. They say that his knees have been bothering him. It's a hard shot for him to make these days, but that one was encouraging.
Drexler late to get there. Hornacek had the open shot. Offside rebound to Adam Keefe. New shot clock for the Jazz. Trailing by a point, 15-14. 5:14 to go, first period. Look at that pass by Stockton. A bullet. And then he passes, goes down to tie his shoe at the same time. It's been a nice little series had the basket been good. 15-14 Rockets. Making the pass, tying his shoe. Willis, pull-up jumper. As we said. Matter of fact, one of the things Rudy Tomjanovich pointed out to us during the meeting today. He said, you know, don't forget that our power forward can hit the mid-range jumper like theirs. Maybe not as good, but he can hit them.
And he has to be aggressive offensively to really keep Malone occupied. But Malone's just going to float, and things are going to happen all over the floor.
Stockton with 4 points. One of his poster shots, that lean-in runner right at the free throw line. Rockets by a point. Inside Olajuwon against Foster. That leaves Maloney open. 4-3. Classic Houston offense.
Classic. What happened there is Olajuwon put the ball on the floor, made everyone think he was getting ready to do something with it, and immediately got it to Maloney.
Off-season knee surgery on his left knee. He said he favored it so much he hurt his right knee, and it's been swelling toward the end. But Hakeem says the good news about that is he has now learned to trust that left knee more, the one he worried about all season long. You see the wrappings on both knees, and they will be a factor in the playoffs depending on how well he can do with it. Howard Isley gets into the ball game at his usual 4-minute mark of the first period to replace John Stockton, and Charles Barkley makes his first appearance of the ball game.
Interesting matchup with Foster guard Barkley.
5 to shoot for Malone. That's long range. A little out of his range in terms of consistent making. Willis out on the break. Can he save it? Into Drexler. Isley fouls him.
Clyde Drexler saw the situation developing right in front of him, Bob, and set it up perfectly. Watch this. He knows his ball's going out of bounds. He sort of baits Isley into going for it, and then immediately goes for the steal. Great hustle by Kevin Willis.
Got a timeout, Houston. Rockets lead at 20-16. The aging Rockets saw a sign held up by one of the fans here at the Delta Center that said Houston was hitting the bottle last night. Parentheses, Geritol.
The Houston Rockets with a 4-point lead. I want to show you this. The Utah Jazz always looking for different options, and they got a guy that can deliver it. Right here, check out Matt Buller right there in the middle of the key. He's trying to cheat, stopping John from getting to the middle, but John can always find the open players. Foster missed that jumper, but that is a deadly play, trying to sneak and cheat on John Stockton.
There's Matt Bullard, surprise starter tonight for the matchup because of the matchup with Adam Keefe. Bullard did start during the regular season 24 games. He's a 7th-year veteran from Iowa, you may recall. Defending Adam Keefe. 3:46 to go, first period. 4-point Rockets lead. Pick and roll. Drexler missing this time. His rare misses early in this ball game. And Howard Isley is playing so well that John Stockton's minutes have been diminished, and they like that because that means in crunch time John Stockton may be a little bit fresher. Hornacek open look, and that's his first bucket of the game after missing his first 3 attempts. Matt Maloney, 2nd year out of Penn, surprise point starter last year for Houston. Did a pretty good job for the Rockets. Got the foul against Adam Keefe.
Well, that was a great, really self-pick by Charles Barkley, going on to give Clyde Drexler some help. And I tell you what, Clyde elected to go the hardest route, but it really faked everybody out on the court and made a foul on Adam Keefe.
Charles Barkley missed 14 games. He's had what's called a sports hernia problem. He hopes he'll be able to give him enough time. Another 3. That's 2 tonight for Matt Maloney. And the Rockets are up 5, and he has 6 points.
Matt Maloney, the second pass away. They really were a little bit slow in their rotation, and Matt Maloney made him pay for it.
I think we're going to see Mario Ellie get in the game pretty soon for Houston, and also Brian Russell for Utah. 6 on the shot clock. 5, 4, 3. Isley has to put it up over the taller Bullard. Did beat the clock. Rebound, Kevin Willis. One of the NBA's best rebounders still. He has 4 early tonight. Barkley alone for the jump shot. You can see that Barkley looks stiff to me.
It looks like he could have taken one more dribble to get a little bit better rhythm. But I'm very impressed with Kevin Willis' effort on the floor right now. He's really playing both ends of the floor. You see him get that rebound, outlet pass it, then on Barkley's miss, he's the one that knocked it out of bounds.
Kevin's been solid all year long for the Houston Rockets, averaging 16 points, 8.5 rebounds. 2:12 to go, first period. Ostertag in, making the pass to Brian Russell, who also gets checked in. And Russell hits the 2 just inside the 3-point line. Brian Russell started very slowly, was a starter, asked to be taken out of the starting lineup. Adam Keefe went in there. Russell now comes in with that quick, active, up-tempo second unit, likes his role there.
He enjoys it. He's always asking for some airtime over here at the table. Watch me, Reggie.
Kevin Willis, you had your eye on him before we even started this, Reggie, and he is delivering early. 8 points, Kevin Willis, and the Rockets are up by 5. Willis has 8, Malone only 4 points.
It's just so important for him to keep Malone occupied. He can bang him, he can do anything he wants, because they match each other physically.
You see there, good defense on Malone. Missed the leaner.
And it was body contact, not just good defense.
Drexler hits Ellie, cutting from the weak side.
And you know, Karl is a guy that does get a little emotional, and Kevin Willis doesn't mind that body contact. There are a lot of power forwards in this league that would shy away from that contact with Malone, but not Kevin Willis.
Biggest lead for the Rockets, 1 minute to go, first period. Isley beating Malone. Oh, floater. That was a pretty shot.
It's a tough shot, too. Yeah. Those are just called runners.
No room for error. 27-22 Rockets. Clyde Drexler's doing it all. Assists, scoring in this first period. Ellie, who didn't start, in now just scored the basket on the last possession. 7 to shoot for Drexler. Willis come there to clean up the garbage. Ostertag in there to get the ball, and he goes down hard. We've got a holding call against Houston. It's going to be on Drexler. Ostertag is the key, in my opinion. He's not the best player by a long shot, but he is the key to the Jazz success if they are to have it in their playoff run this year.
No question in this first round and beyond, if that's the case, because Ostertag in the middle solidifies that big body and gets people out of the way.
Isley with the run and the tip in by Ostertag.
And just as we called it, Ostertag is a guy that can get in there and cause problems. That big body frustrates people, and he can lean on you, and he frustrates a lot of big men in this league. When he's playing well, he gives his team a great boost.
Jerry Sloan really drives this young man from Kansas, Ostertag. He's had a disappointing year, new contract, even got booed at home in the last game here at the Delta Center, the last regular season home game. But he hopes he can count on it. At the buzzer for the shot clock, Willis misses. And at the end of 1, the Rockets lead it by 3. They led it by as many as 7. 27-24. Game 1, first round, Rockets, Jazz. We're just starting playoff coverage, 40 games in 30 nights. Tonight on our sister station network TNT in about 20 minutes, game 1 of that San Antonio-Phoenix series set to get underway. Then tomorrow on TBS, the Knicks and Heat begin their battle, followed by game 1 in that Minnesota-Seattle series. Playoffs continue on TNT and TBS. Quadruple headers. A doubleheader on each network as we get into round 1 of the NBA playoffs for 1998. Rockets won the first period, 27-24.
And they did it playing Rocket-style basketball. Good defense, and then hitting their perimeter shots after the doubles come.
Barkley working on Malone. Didn't go. Rebound to Brian Russell.
So when Barkley takes that much time dribbling the ball, trying to get a shot, I think he hurts the team. He's got to either get a shot or get off the ball until he gets into his rhythm.
Brian Russell beats Ellie off the dribble. Fouled by Barkley.
Brian Russell got a foul off Barkley, but it should have been a real easy play to dump that down to Ostertag. Wide open, could have gave the big fella a gimme down on the low side. And that gives him great confidence. Down the middle and to your right, Ostertag is standing there. Brian Russell elects to take the tougher shot. Could have gave Ostertag a crib.
Malone's going to get a rest. He's only taken 5 shots and made 2 in this first period. Early into the second period here. And Antoine Carr steps into play, a playoff veteran you played with for a while. 14th year, 37 years old.
Big dog can get after. He's a guy that's going to play a lot more time because of the size of the Rockets. And he's another big man that can hit that 14-footer.
Got the offensive rebound right on cue. Looking to post up Carr against Willis. They played together also previously. Ellie back to Willis. Willis poked it away. Eddie Johnson into the game for the first time, and Brent Price playing the point for Houston. Brent Price has the wrapping on his right knee. He's also had knee problems, 2 ACL surgeries in his career. Played 72 games this year.
Oh, Kevin
Willis is still lighting it up. 10 points for Willis, and it's a 5-point Rockets lead.
Big time inside game, but really stealing it from the outside.
Hey, his 5 rebounds also. Isley to Shandon Anderson. Poked away by Carr, controlled by Kevin Willis. Brent Price pulls up for the 3. Oh, Brent Price pull up 3. Brent Price shoots 39% from out there. And this is a 32-25 Rockets lead.
The Houston Rockets really shooting the ball very well. 3 for 6 from outside right now.
Looking for Shandon Anderson inside, but they couldn't find him on the cut. So Antoine Carr goes to the right.
His patented little short jump hook from the right side of the floor. He's been doing that since he was a baby.
Carr missed about 15 games with a hamstring injury too. He hurt in Charlotte, the game we were televising late in the season. Willis has 12. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
Well, the big thing is that you can't let Kevin Willis stand flat-footed and shoot his jumpers. You got to make him put it on the floor. He doesn't want to shoot off the dribble.
Defending Carr now. 34-27 Rockets, matching their biggest lead. Isley in trouble, kicks it to Shandon Anderson, to Brian Russell. Brian Russell, excellent three-point shooter last year, not so much this year since they moved the line out. Brent Price on the drive, kick to Ellie. Ostertag there to force him to pass to Eddie Johnson, and that's a triple. The threes are raining. Reggie, you said early, if Houston can beat Utah, it'll be because they can hit the threes, and Utah really fears the three.
There's no question, because they're not that quick a team getting out to the outside guys. But Houston Rockets shooting it well from the perimeter right now, getting it done. Well, they started the game off 0 for 3 from the bomb line, but since then have gone 4 in a row. Brent Price stopping on the dime, just takes it on himself and bang, knocks down a triple. Then on the driving kick, Mario Ellie to the Jazz killer, Eddie Johnson, another tray from way out.
There's Eddie Johnson right now. They were 16th in the NBA. You pointed out earlier in our when we were getting ready for the ball game, 34%, not shooting it very well, but they took 1,670 threes. That's 1,000 more threes than Utah attempted.
That's amazing. That's a tremendous stat. But right now, they are playing Houston Rocket basketball. If they get some defensive stops, second shots, you talked about it there, that is what's going to kill them. If they allow the Jazz to get second shots in the previous games, it really has hurt them. But so far in this game, they've done a great job not allowing that to happen.
Shandon Anderson follows after the miss. We've got a travel at Houston turnover. 37-29 Rockets, 8:38 to go in the first half of play. Rudy Tomjanovich, who was just mystified as to what he would get out of his team in this ballgame here tonight, must be pleased.
Well, when you've had a team that's been as injured and not really able to get into any type of continuity, with the ability that they have, the talent that they have, you just don't know what's going to happen when they come out on the floor.
Shandon Anderson, who is part of that second unit that can give them so much activity, drives on the baseline and is fouled by Mario Ellie. 8:27 to go in the half. Trying to post up Brian Russell with no success, so he pops out for it. Now they'll go back to Antoine Carr in the same spot. This is what Stockton's so good at, getting him in position. That was a block by Akeem the Dream. Barkley alone. How about Barkley not having the confidence to take that shot? Brent Price does. Brent Price has 2 triples in this game, and it is an 11-point Rockets lead.
Bob, Charles Barkley is a very unselfish player. He knows that his confidence levels is down, but the other guys are shooting the ball well. Why take the shot when you got other guys knocking him down?
Brian Russell, his second bucket, has 5 points. 40-31 Rockets. Brent Price has done a very nice job as the backup point guard to Maloney this year for Houston. They just have never been healthy. Keane dribbles out of bounds.
And see, that's what an Oshie tag does for you. That big body didn't allow Keane to do the drop step spin that he's so famous for.
3 turnovers now for Houston. Jazz down 9. Stockton's pull-up jumper from 19. Loose ball comes away to Charles. He's running pretty well to have that groin pull. Ellie kicks it out 4-3. Brent Price with 3 triples. Whoa, baby, that'll get a timeout from Jerry Sloan. The Rockets are down 12 in the second period. Here's Brent Price. Ellie making the great kick out to him. His 3rd three-pointer. Charles Barkley got in 9 minutes. Remember, he has that sports hernia injury. He's thinking about having surgery, but his confidence for Charles way down.
Well, right here, he doesn't have the confidence to shoot that, and why should he? He's an unselfish player. You got other guys on the floor shooting it well, like Price knocking down another 3-pointer.
Houston 6 out of 9 from 3-point range. And if Houston were to move on and be the Cinderella story of the playoffs, you see what their daunting task would be. Houston 7-21 against the other 7 Western playoff teams this year.
And Bob, don't forget, this Houston team defeated 4 50-win teams en route to their first championship game.
We talked about that too. They call them Choke City, then all of a sudden they become Clutch City.
That's it. He said they don't play their best basketball until they have to.
Well, they have to. Malone on the drive with the lay-in. It's a 10-point Rockets lead. Houston missed their first 3 triples and then have made 6 in a row from beyond the arc. Eddie Johnson.
A lot of unselfish play right now by the Houston Rockets. Get the ball to the open guys.
Willis found himself matched up against Adam Keefe, got really excited and threw up a brick, a clunker. Stockton on the penetration to kick out to Karl Malone. Rebound Keefe. It was knocked out of his hands, however, by John Stockton.
That's what one would call just a little bit over hustle. 2 guys going for the same ball, not really realizing that the other guy is his teammate.
3 Houston turnovers. There have been 2 Jazz turnovers early in the ball game. Houston threes are the difference. Eddie Johnson getting the pick from Willis. Wanted him to roll, didn't roll.
Turnovers are a big problem for the Houston Rockets playing against the Jazz, because the Jazz is a team that capitalizes on any turnover. You can't get them any breathing room at all.
Shandon Anderson to Karl Malone. There's a turnover story. Karl Malone, since he's been on the bench, has come back into the ball game with 2 consecutive baskets. It's 43-35 Rockets by 8. Elijah Wall against Malone. Malone tried to rake it, missed it. Brent Price, not this time, too close. Malone with the board. The crowd getting into this ball game now at the Delta Center. 5:29 to go, first half. Stockton fouled on the drive by Elijah Wall. That'll be his first. Last night, there was a local television show outside the Delta Center. Of course, there was no game or anything else going on. And the place was packed with fans out in the streets here in Salt Lake City.
Oh, they love their Jazz.
Well, they think this will be the year. So do the Jazz. I think anything less than an NBA championship would be a disappointment.
They fought for home court advantage throughout the playoffs. They got it. They think this is what will turn the key for them.
Stockton with one more of those very difficult long-range passes. And once again, his man over in the corner missed the shot. Foster earlier. Anderson that time. Willis has 8 rebounds.
Always interesting to me to see how Stockton uses his options off of his offense.
Rice. Oh, and grabbed by Willis. Nice pass.
Yeah.
That was a 3-point bet.
Absolutely.
45-35, Rockets back up by double digits. That was a nice pass by Anderson, knocked out of bounds. It was tipped by Brent Price into Stockton and then out, and so it'll be Houston ball.
And you know what made that play was the fact that Price put a little pressure body-wise on Stockton. He was a little off balance when he came off that pick. Consequently, didn't have both hands on the ball when it hit him in the chest.
Wanted to get Foster and Maloney into the ball game. They didn't check in before they were allowed into the game, so they won't get the substitutions, and Price will stay on the floor. 4:37 to go in the first half. Jazz had scored only 35 points. Tipped by Russell, saved by Russell to keep to Stockton. Malone, as he does, runs the floor, spotted up over the corner. They got Hornacek on the drive.
Bob, did you see the spacing? They had an actual picture-perfect fast break. You had the two wingmen and the trailer, and of course Stockton exhausts his two wing guys and then goes to the trailer for their layup.
Execution, Utah. Bulls to within 8.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price, look no further than AutoZone. And by the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach.
Well, if you want to keep feeding the fever after this ball game, if a doubleheader's not enough, we got more basketball above the rim. Tupac Shakur, Marlon Wayans, Dwayne Martin starring at Above the Rim coming up after this game on the Superstation.
Well, the Utah Jazz, first fast break of the game. Why don't you guys stop it right there? Give me one guy here, one guy, and then Malone over in this corner. Stockton exhausts all passes and then goes to the trailer for the little layup, and that is really the spacing, everything perfect, picture perfect fast break. And that was their first fast break basket of this game. Right now, it's 13-2 fast break points.
For Houston, leading 45-37, 4:11 to go in the first half. Maloney back in for Price. Foster also back in the game. Brian Russell, he played some great defense in the playoffs last year. Stockton, Hornacek, second in the NBA in threes, and he nails that one. Jeff Hornacek, it's a 5-point game, and Jeff has the last 5 Utah points.
And Bob, I told you, turnovers caused the Jazz to really get a chance to get opportunities on the other end. Both times they have capitalized on their turnovers.
Ellie took Hornacek into the lane for the runner and draws the foul. Mario Ellie's going to be a tough cover for Jeff Hornacek tonight.
Jeff Hornacek making it happen again, doing it from all over, layups, jump shots, and again, it's the Utah Jazz and the bad passing of the Houston Rockets twice down court, telegraphing the post entry pass.
And then Hornacek followed up with the foul. Ellie converts the three-pointer back to an 8-point Rockets lead, 3:35 to go in the half. The Rockets with 3 of the NBA's top 50 all-time players on this team. Malone, runner in the lane, also in the top 50 along with Stockton.
It's
5 in this game, Roger.
Bob, it's so big time to watch Malone. Wait for the defense. See if they're going to cover me. No double coverage. Okay, one-on-one, baby. You on me.
Bang. One of the interesting things in this first half, Karl Malone hasn't been to the free throw line. He's always among league leaders at free throw attempts. Elijah wants turnaround. Somebody got a piece of him. Stockton. Brian Russell playing well as he came off the bench. Been playing better in the second half of this season. 10 on the shot clock. Malone getting into the paint again. It's blocked. Malone down. No call.
And that's that power forward, Kevin Willis. Malone cannot muscle him out of the lane.
Maloney spotting up for 3 now. Ellie over on the right side. Not this time. Rebound Willis. Put back Willis. Drexler with the rebound. The Houston Rockets are playing like a team possessed, but they got nothing out of that possession and lead by only 6. Kevin Willis already with 10 rebounds.
10 rebounds and doing a great job offensively and stopping Karl Malone at this point in the game.
That's Drexler's second personal foul.
We know this Houston Rocket team is a team that has not been together at all this year from injuries and other things. They've really lost their identity, but you knew coming into this playoffs that this is a different season and they're capable of rising up a couple more notches, and that's what they're doing tonight.
Ryan Russell, this is from long range. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Elijah one. Tried to drive past Malone as he raked for the ball. He got Elijah one, and that'll be Malone's first personal foul. Coming up on the Nike halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and yes, Chuck Daly.
The Chuck's there.
We'll review game one of the Hawks, Hornets, and Pacers, Cavs. Hawks had a big lead. What was it, 12 or 13 in the first half of that ball game, and the Hornets come back to win at home by 10.
What a show by Smith and Rice in that game. Whoa.
Indiana beat Cleveland. I mean, like a drum. 106-77 tonight. And that'll be the second on Greg Foster.
Kevin Willis has got one live body tonight, both ends of the floor, and he said earlier that if guys aren't ready to play, they can just forget about being men. This is the man's time of year. This is where your biceps really come into play.
Well, he's got them. Speaking of biceps, he's 15 and 10. I mean, that's a nice night for anybody. As a matter of fact, it's really above his averages. Kevin Willis averaged 16 and 8.4 rebounds for the whole game in the regular season. Missed that free throw, but Elijah Wan was there to get the loose ball and put it back in. 51-42, Rockets back by 9 with 1:34 to go in the half. In the first game, in the first round, in their history, Utah's 26-1 in games played at home. They lost one time ever in first round games at home, and now they're trailing by 9. That's on Elijah Wan, his second.
Obviously, the Jazz still in very good contact with this basketball game.
Sure. And
really taking a steady punch from the Houston Rockets right now. They're playing about as well as I've seen them play in a long time.
You and I talked about it today. You know the pride that this team has.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes beyond the big three. I mean, there's pride in it. You talk about the big three, and the man who's doing the work tonight, you'd have to include into the big four is Kevin Willis. They all have it. Mario Elie, Eddie Johnson.
And they've got a lot of experience on this team. And guys with experience, playoff experience, come to play when they know that they have to. This is the time of year where nothing else matters. What you had in the beginning of the season, all through the season, nothing matters. Right now is the beginning of a new season.
Rockets by 7. 1:14 to go in the half. Eddie Johnson's leaning. Rebound, Greg Foster. This is the time, this final 2 minutes of each half is when Utah will sneak back into the ball game. That time Malone had it stripped. There's payback. Eddie Johnson. Not this time. It's Utah ball. Down 51-44. Stockton getting a lot more minutes tonight than he's been getting in the last half of this season. And you know why. 10 to shoot, 40 seconds in the half. High pick and roll. The open man, Ryan Russell. They can't hit that shot. That shot has been there all night on the offense. Charles Barkley says, come on. I'm not scoring, but I got some rebounds. 3 already in limited time. He's played about 12 minutes. Willis backing in on Malone. That's a travel. That's Malone slipping back. That's the old Rick Mahorn. You think I'm here to lean on, but I'm gone, baby.
You give him a lot of pressure, and then just as he makes his move, you back off. I've seen guys fall down completely from that play. 7
Houston turnovers, only 4 by Utah, but the Rockets are up 51-44 with 10 seconds in the half. Big possession here for Utah, even though they're going to go into the half trailer. Look at the defense by Houston.
That's good defense by Maloney, not allowing Karl Malone to push him out of the lane, and he got his body gravity low, so really had the better leverage.
0.7 of a second. This time for a catch and shoot. But even Eddie Johnson didn't have time to shoot the ball. Willis and Malone we talked about as being one of the key matchups in this basketball game. Kevin Willis tonight, 15 points, 11 rebounds. Karl 10 and only 3, and Malone did not go to the free throw line.
Opening night of the NBA playoffs right here on TBS. Houston Rockets, number 8 seed, and they're beating the number 1 seed, the Utah Jazz, after 24 minutes at the Delta Center. It's a 51-44 game. The Rockets with the lead. It's the Nike halftime report. Chuck Daly, Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson, former Rocket Kenny Smith. What's up? There's some life in them old bones in Houston tonight.
Well, never underestimate. No, I won't go there. I won't go there.
The heart of a champion, Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yeah, I tell you though, they're playing some inspired basketball, but against Utah, you have to sustain it for 48 minutes, though.
So far, so good for the first 24. They lead it by 7. Now, the first teams out of the shoot on opening night of the playoffs, the Hawks and the Hornets. Charlotte had the home court, but Atlanta had won all 4 regular season meetings. Would that trend continue tonight? Charlotte, everybody shaved their heads, and the guy who always has his shave couldn't play. Matt Geiger out of the lineup. Early on, all Atlanta. Steve Smith hitting the 3. Mookie Blaylock doing what he wants against the white shirts and dishing back to Christian Laettner. It's 51-39. Dave Cowan shaking his head and then says, you know, I'm coming on to something. I'm bringing J.R. Reed off the Pines for 9 points in the second quarter. Huge bucket here off the pick and roll. 3-point play. Ties the game at 54 as they go to the break. Hornets come out full of fire in the third period. Glenn Rice, a chance for a 3-point play, missed the free throw, turns it into a 4-point play. That'll work. 69-60 Charlotte. Steve Smith, unconscious. 35 points on the night, had a shootout with Steve Smith all night long. Smitty again. How did he do that? 82-81. But Glenn Rice with the answer on the drive, and the floater goes. They're up 83-82. Rice again just takes it back where he's comfortable and pops it without even thinking. 91-84. Steve Smith, 91-87. Still a game until David Wesley delivers the dagger for Charlotte. Finally, the Hornets solve the Atlanta Hawks. They win at 97-87 after losing all 4 regular season meetings against Lenny Wilkins' troops. The guys on center stage tonight, Steve Smith and Glenn Rice. Let's hear from them.
Yeah, you know, me and Steve are very competitive. We try and come out and give our team what we can to get that added edge. And, you know, he really worked hard tonight, and I worked hard. And I tried to come out and do whatever I could to get our team a victory.
Unbelievable shooter. He definitely don't need any room. And the one thing is, Glenn, you just got to try to get at him early. And I wish I had him slow down a little bit, but, you know, he kept hitting it.
What a difference for the Atlanta Hawks from the first quarter when they scored 29 points, shot over 50%, hit 4 out of 6 threes, and had 7 second-chance points. Look what happened in the last 3 quarters. Only 58 points, and you see 7 second-chance points the rest of the game, and only 4 out of 16 from beyond the arc. Plus, they weren't hitting them from the foul line, only 43% for the game. What does this do to the confidence level on both sides now? Chuck, if you're Dave Cowens, you finally beat this team that's been beating you like a drum all year.
Well, you've got to be ecstatic because you come out and you did it the way you had to do it, because the Hawks came in with a lot of intensity and played very well early and thought they could steal the game right off the bat. Didn't happen.
What is going through Atlanta's mind right now? When you get out of the gate, as they did in this game, really silence the folks at the Hive, and then you let that one slip away. What are you thinking now with the day off?
Well, I think they feel positive in the fact that they came out and the game plan did work. However, they couldn't sustain it for the 48 minutes. Once the game started to get into Charlotte's realm, they kind of relaxed a little bit. So I think now they say, hey, we just need to keep that effort up for 48 minutes.
I tell you, Glenn Rice and Steve Smith answering the playoff bell tonight. 35 for Smith, 34 for Glenn Rice. The Hornets win it by 10. When we come back, we'll take a look at the other Eastern Conference opener tonight. I'd like to tell you this was really a tough, tight battle, too. Then I'd be fibbing. The Pacers all over the Cavs. More on that when we come back. Halftime here on TBS, where the Rockets do not adjust your sets. Lead the Jazz 51-44. Meantime, on TNT, the Spurs and the Suns ready to go at America West. So you can flip the TNT if you want to watch that. Meantime, tomorrow night, 4 more games on Turner. TBS, we got the Knicks and the Heat. Bring your mouthpiece, followed by Minnesota and Seattle. And on TNT, the Nets and Bulls, followed by the Blazers and the Lakers. Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers played game 1 tonight, and they've got playoff fever at Market Square. They always do. And with good reason this year. Reggie Miller, The floater, he had 19 points. Indiana just doing it all. Look at them. Look at the ball movement and the winding up with Jalen Rose with a layup, and they're all pumped up. And Mark Jackson, look at his feet.
Straight out of Southside Queens, he throws them no-look pass.
Oh, he's going back for the hometown kids. And there we see Chris Mullen minus the flat top. You know, they had a few guys shaving their heads, too. It doesn't matter with a lefty. He was burying jumpers from all over the place. Everybody wearing the white uniform was. Remember Kiss? Always one of my favorites. 106-77. Indiana with a huge win over Cleveland in game one. Cavaliers young, kind of outmanned tonight. Kemp goes for 25 and 13. He was about all Cleveland had as they fall hard at Market Square Arena. Not totally unexpected in the 3-6 matchup here, but Larry Bird's guys certainly look like they're clicking, Chip.
They are like a train headed downhill, and it's going to be very tough for the Cavaliers to stop them. But Mike has got to get his guards involved, and they've got to control the tempo and be offensively efficient if they're going to stop them. They've got to make shots to keep the Pacers from running.
Is that a demoralizing loss if you're a Cavalier, Kenny?
No, you could just come in here and say, well, we didn't play hard enough. Now, you have an excuse where you don't say the game plan didn't work. We just need to come out and play a little bit harder. I think that's what the guys are thinking, so it's not as bad as it might seem.
And besides, the game we really wanted to steal was game two. Back to put the finishing touch on the Nike halftime report in just a minute. Opening night of the playoffs here on Turner. Thanks for hanging with us, folks. Welcome you back. Remember, on our sister network, TNT, the night is not complete until you've seen Inside the NBA with Vince Cellini and Detroit Pistons head coach Alvin Gentry. Now, if you're surfing the net, you know the ultimate address for sports. It's CNN Sports Illustrated. Simple, CNNSI.com. The Houston Rockets, after 24 minutes, lead the Utah Jazz 51-44 here on TBS. Third quarter coming up.
51-44 Rockets surprisingly in front of the Jazz here in game one of this first round matchup in the Western Conference. Utah's only lead came at 14-13. Houston led at one time by as many as 12 points. Frankly, I'm a little surprised in the fact that Utah finished the season so strong and Houston lost 3 out of their last 4 games. But then when you think about it, you think about the quality of players, maybe not so surprised.
And Bob, what you have to think about is this is the new season. What happened during the regular season means nothing. Tonight is the start of something big. The Houston Rockets shooting 54% from the three-point line, where they only shoot 34% on the season, and 51% from field goals, where they shoot only 45% for the season. Kevin Willis has been huge tonight with playing Malone big time.
15 and 11 for Kevin Willis in the first half. Charles Barkley got in, played a little bit, had 3 rebounds, no points. But we have our Barkley cam at work tonight, following Charles all the way from his first entrance into the ball game, into the locker room and back. His chat with Dick Bavetta and the fans. Charles predicted when we interviewed him earlier that Houston would win this series. Still got the pointy elbows and still gets the loose ball as Charles Barkley is in what some people think will be his last hurrah in his quest for a championship ring. However, Charles indicated in our interview that he says, you know, I'm not that displeased with my year. If I feel better, it may not be over. D. Lynham, what do you have?
If you saw, Charles was being taunted by a fan throughout much of that first half. And actually, there's no love lost between the Utah fans and this Houston Rockets team. The last time they were here, Brent Price received a technical foul near the end of the game. And as he left the court, he threw a cup of water on the Utah fans. So there's a little bad blood between the two.
Well, do you know Brent Price is Mr. Nasty?
Yeah, he's
for
a
Houston.
mean guy. And the guy that's been taunting Charles, they have this one thing in common. They both have the same hairdresser.
Yes. Brent Price, you're taking a look out there with those wraps. He's had 2 ACL surgeries, had a little bit of swelling in his knee. Didn't play in the final game, but he came in here and busted some big threes early to set the tone, help set the tone for Houston from beyond the three-point arc, whereas you said they shot 54%. And one of the other big stories in the first half is the lack of free throws on the part of either team, but Karl Malone has not been to the line yet.
Well, Karl Malone is playing against Kevin Willis, who's got great energy tonight, really bodying up on him and not allowing him to get into the paint. Of course, you know Karl Malone is very capable of sticking with his game and sticking with what Stockton can give him. And what has made him better this year is he's allowing the game to come to him. Before, he might have went out and tried to force his game, but Kevin Willis is really playing great defense and great offense tonight against Karl Malone.
13th year, 36 years old is Kevin Willis. Both these teams average more than 30 years of age from 1 through 12. Willis misses here. Olajuwon rebounds over Hornacek. Bullard. New shot clock. Maloney's going to take the three. Rebound Keith. Stockton, it's 5 against 4 as Drexler was left out of that play because he went for the steal on Stockton, and that draws a foul against Houston. It's Kevin Willis getting his first.
Drexler always trying to play the lanes, really probably hurt the Rockets defensively, going for that steal, trying to get an easy layup because that gave him numbers on the offensive end.
Clyde's the leading assist man on this Houston team. In addition to scoring his 15-16 a game, he had 4 assists in the first half, 7 points. 11:17 to go, opening moments. Third quarter, Stockton all the way to the hoop. Illegal defense.
Illegal defense because the Houston Rockets recognized that there was a mismatch down below with, I think it was Keith and Maloney in the post-up. They were trying to give help before the ball was passed to him in the low post.
That's the second illegal defense call, so that means they'll shoot the free throw. Jeff Hornacek is only second in the NBA in free throw shooting at 89%. He's second to Chris Mullen, who shot a sweet .939 in regular season. Mullen, by the way, was a high scorer tonight in the Indiana-Cleveland game, had 20. Kemp had 25 for Cleveland, the losing cause. 106-77 was the final there, Indiana winning. Hornacek lobbed it inside, but because of defensive pressure, nobody was there for the Jazz, and they'll get yet another turnover. Rockets 51-45. That's the 6th Houston turnover. Rockets Jazz turnover. There have been 7 Houston turnovers. Drexler working on Adam Keith. Keith got a piece of the ball and a piece of Clyde.
And Clyde just baited him into fouling him that time, feeling the defense on his body, spins to the middle with making contact the whole way. Of course, Clyde, that is part of his game. He knows he doesn't have a shot. He's looking to get to the line.
With the first unit for the Utah Jazz, they do not have an answer for Clyde Drexler.
Not at all. They were going to put Keith on him, and I think that the Houston Rockets messed that all up by starting Matt Bullard.
As Keith was on him individually on that play there, and as you see, even Keith, who's much slower of foot, even with the aging Drexler, can't contain him on the drive.
Not when Clyde's got a full head of steam and going somewhere with it.
How would you like to be one of the Houston Cougar recruits for Clyde Drexler next year and being off guard, you know? And he says, here, let me show you how to do that.
Yeah, actually, it's a great advantage for a coach to be able to still play as he's teaching his kids.
Yeah, that's a good point. He'll have a lot of fun. Clyde says it's his dream job. Coasting is all the money. Willis down to the corner. 10:34 to go in the third quarter. 52-45 Houston. Shot clock to 10. Willis is going to pull up. Not a good selection. Not much offense going.
Well, the shot clock's running down. He had touched it with 2 hands, so therefore he could not put it back down on the floor again, or it would have been travel.
Bullard gets the miss by Stockton on the pull-up 3 attempt. Drexler working again. Kicking to Malone. Back to Clyde. He's going to pull up and drain it. That's a triple.
Well, you see how Clyde creates space for himself offensively. He just puts it on the floor, back Keith up, and then Keith now is really scared to come out on him because he thinks Clyde is going to drive on him, Bob.
The Rockets are up by 10. They have led by illegal defense as that pass was to me. That was nice. Thank you, Jeff, because I am open.
Yeah, but you would still miss the shot.
Yeah, I'd take it, though. Willis was called for the foul. It's not an illegal D. It's a foul on Kevin Willis, and that'll be his second. Hornacek drives past Drexler, who wasn't quite ready for that. Foster went for the jam. They wave it off. Offensive basket interference. He missed it anyway.
It's good hustle by Foster. He tried to hold up. Watch him just jackknife his body right there. You really couldn't see it that time, but take the second look out. Right in the middle. Watch him kind of jackknife his body, trying to hold up just a second, but it was not enough.
He jumped too high. You won't hear many people say that. Drexler inside to Olajuwon. Easy basket. Nice pass from Clyde. Olajuwon now has 8 points in the game. Olajuwon and Malone, the go-to men, have not been that big a factor in this ball game. so far. But, of course, we're early in the third period.
But Olajuwon has caused the double teams down in the post, and then the Houston Rockets are able to hit their outside shot. So that has been a big plus for the Rockets in this game.
Malone slips going to the hoop. He was fouled first, though. And it's on Willis, and that'll be his third.
Sometimes the referees call because of the action in the play. Karl Malone just really slipped on that play.
Well, we'll get a chance to see it.
Well, good defense, good defense. Going to the middle right there. He just falls down. Referee blew the whistle on the fall contact.
Looking for Malone, posted against Olajuwon this time. Not good enough spacing, though. They're going to go to it anyway. 10 to shoot. Karl's turnaround jumper. Rainbow over Olajuwon. Willis with the rebound. That's 12. Houston playing with poise.
Really being patient offensively. And that happens when you're able to hit your perimeter jumpers. They don't have to force things when they're hitting shots from the outside.
Bogdanovich said he felt that his team would play with poise. That's been a hallmark of the team. They've had to come back so many times during his career as head coach. I've done a lot of their playoff games during the runs when they had won the championships. And let's face it, they were down 2-0 to Phoenix.
I mean, this is a team home. This is a team, Bob, that has about 4 or 5 guys that played over 1,000 basketball games, so they know how important this is and how to elevate their game. This is a pretty healthy team today, where before they haven't been healthy all year. This is a team that they haven't been able to put this unit out on the floor very many times at all this season.
Bullard picked up that foul. That's his second personal. And Adam Keefe goes to the free throw line, where he is an 81% shooter. Went everywhere but in. 12-point Rockets lead. Amazingly here, to me anyway, is that the Jazz have scored only 45 points. The weakness for Houston all year long, if you were to point at one thing, has been their lack of defense.
Lack of defense, and it has a lot to do with their lack of ability in the middle. Olajuwon hasn't been himself this year. He's the main guy playing defense for the Houston Rockets.
Malone working on Stockton. His pull-up jumper doesn't fall, and Adam Keefe hauls down the board. Here comes Stockton. Rockets up by 11.
I have to look for Malone to start to really try to force his game a little bit. He's allowing it to come to him, but right now to a fault. He needs to go ahead and be aggressive and make some things happen so he can get involved in this game offensively.
You just called for being in the lane 3 seconds this time, so that'll going to be another Utah turnover. And Karl Malone struggling here. But we're only at 8:08 mark in the third period. Rockets are up by 11. They've led almost all the way at 1 point. Utah grabbed a 14-13 lead in the first period, but that's been it. Malone battled for that rebound with Olajuwon, kept it alive, looked a little bit like Carl Rodman. Dennis Malone. I'm sure you'd like that comparison. This Jazz drop. 1 point in their last 7 possessions. That's Houston D, I'm telling you. Look at it again. Oh! That was Chris Morris who got the hard foul on Clyde Drexler. Let's see what they call here.
They got to call a flagrant breakaway on that. He popped him on the back of his head.
Will it be 2 and on the side? I think so. 2 shots and on the side is the call. Chris Morris.
Houston Rockets been playing great defense on the other end, and Clyde Drexler right here going to the bucket. Chris Morris
kind of popped him. That's more of a slap. Bang.
He gave him one of the kind of slaps you give your boys at the park when you're playing.
Yeah, at the park, though, you don't get 2 and in on sidelines.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, when guys are sweating the back of their head, that stings, Bob.
Clyde, who's got, if anybody in the league has poise, it's him. He was wild by that, as anyone would be. But he quietly steps to the line, gets the 2, and they'll get the ball.
Right here, watch him.
Elbow.
He actually popped him twice. Hit him with the forearm and then came back and popped him with the rest of his wrist.
Think of the hand-eye coordination required by Chris Morris. This is the biggest lead of the game. You got it. Biggest lead of the game. 59-46. Rockets by 13. 18 on the shot clock. Houston ball. You know, if you're Jazz fans, if you're Jerry Sloan, you got to start getting concerned halfway through the third period when you're down 13.
I'll tell you what, something the Rockets have done tonight that has been huge is they've really kept this Utah fans out out of this basketball game. Many nights they have propelled this team in great basketball games.
Just the short spurts the Jazz have had, this place has really become active. So we'll see. They got the Houston turnover. That was Houston's first after 5. And fouls on Maloney.
And Utah, 5 turnovers in this quarter. That's tremendous at the defensive effort by the Rockets. And I think they're doing a great job at cutting off Stockton, not allowing him to get the angles that he wants off of the pick and roll. Big time situation. Rudy talked about it earlier. When Stockton goes pick and roll, it really hurts the defense because now you have to make so many adjustments. You have to play Stockton so he doesn't have the angles. Play him solid, then he doesn't have to worry about the backline rotation.
Stockton, 83% free throw shooter, misses this time. This Utah team is the #1 free throw shooting team in the NBA coming into this ball game, and Houston just went into the penalty, so they'll be shooting them now. But Stockton misses both of them. So just one of those out of sync nights.
Energy level doesn't seem nearly as high either for the Utah Jazz.
You have to wonder. Utah, last year with 7 games to go, had wrapped up the West. So they could prepare, they could relax, even though they finished the regular season. This time, it went all the way to that game last Friday night against Phoenix before they wrapped up the best record when Seattle lost up to San Antonio. There's another block to Malone trying to get a shot down in low.
And that's the president of Olajuwon down below. He can get those kind of stops. Houston Rockets could be in serious business here.
Chris Morris now trying to defend Drexler. Malone fouls Olajuwon.
You know, Bob, you're talking about the Jazz and their situation at the end of the season. If it's any other team, I might say they might have had a little letdown. But this blue-collar team prides themselves on being ready to play when they have to.
Timeout, Utah.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
Having a good time at the Delta Center the best way you can. We talked about the Utah Jazz struggling offensively and the great defense being played as you see that block by Olajuwon on Malone. In this period, the Utah Jazz have not scored one single field goal. They have 5 turnovers and only 2 points. Both of them came from the line, and we are at the 6:39 mark of the third period.
No question. Great defense by the Houston Rockets tonight. But I really think that the Utah Jazz, their energy level seems a little bit low. They don't seem to be quite in sync offensively as I've seen them in the past. And Malone has really got to get into his offensive rhythm. He's not forcing the game. He's letting it come to him. But I think that's wrong. He's got to go ahead and try to make something happen before he runs out of time on the clock.
Karl Malone has missed his last 4 shots. Has no points, of course, in the third quarter. Drexler stepped into the passing lane, deflected it, saved it to Olajuwon, and that is turnover 11 for the Utah Jazz. 61-46, Rockets threatening to make a blowout of this ball game. That'll surprise everybody as they're watching around America tonight. Utah led the NBA in field goal percentage at 49% this year. Tonight in this game, they're shooting 42%. 10 to shoot. Drexler fouled on the drive. Let's check in with D-line and D.
Bob, at the half, Jerry Sloan was telling his team they have to play with more toughness. At that last time out, he was saying, we're panicking. It's one pass and shoot. That is not who we are.
Well, that's for sure. That's not who they are. Reggie, you talked about at the beginning of the ball game.
That's a great point. Utah really not into their game offensively.
Drexler. He loses it this time on the drive, however. Chris Morris is sent into the game to see if he can play Drexler. Drexler has been so dangerous tonight. He has 13 points and 5 assists, but he's been doing so many things. Nobody's been able to really handle him. Morris lost the ball on the drive. Jim Clark had a foul.
That's a tough call, though, right there, because the ball had already been lost before the contact came.
That's the second on Ellie. Mario Ellie, who did not start tonight. Bullard did. Mario's slipping. He's had some great years in the championship years, but this year 8.5 points, 3 assists, 27 minutes a game, shooting 45% from the floor, only 29% from beyond the arc. It's been a slipping year.
And see, that is the big part right there. Mario Elie was their Mr. Inspirational, Mr. Tough Guy. They called him Junkyard Dog for a long time there, shooting 29% from the three-point line and not really giving them the energy level that he has done in the past.
Yeah, tonight Mario has 5 points. And Chris Morris hits the free throw, but you saw this, the Jazz below 60% free throw shooting in this game. And Houston's in the penalty and have been that way since the 7-minute mark. Olajuwon's turnaround jumper into the hands of Chris Morris. Morris nearly loses it, but regains it. Very athletic, but what would you say? Unpredictable. Brian Russell, a standstill set shot three, and Utah has had an open shot in that right corner tonight about 5 times, and nobody's been able to hit one yet. Willis with yet another rebound. 14 rebounds for Kevin Willis tonight.
And aggressive offensively. Turning into the middle, making the game happen. Before the defense is able to double team him, he's already into his play. Now that's normally what we see Karl Malone doing tonight. Because of his shyness offensively, has not attempted one free throw. Now that is totally unlike his basketball game.
Willis to the free throw line. The foul was on Hornacek. Kevin Willis now with 16, his first points of this half, first point of this half. The other interesting thing that I've noticed, I've seen Utah a lot of times this year, including just a week ago in that Phoenix game where they wrapped up the best record in the NBA. Usually the second unit with Isley, Russell, Shandon Anderson come in and really inspire this team. That has not happened tonight.
But what has happened tonight, this Houston Rocket team, they haven't seen this team play like this all season long. They swept them 4-0 in the regular season. These guys have come out and played a totally different ball game tonight.
We have a loose ball foul. It's going to be on Houston. Once again, though, no way can Utah find a way to get the ball in the hoop in this period, as Charles Barkley, who played 10 minutes in the first half, had 3 rebounds, no points, is going to get into the game just a moment ago. In a moment from now, Elie picked up the personal. That's his third.
Bob, this game is so much of this game is confidence level. Even on the level like the Houston Rockets, where they have such great players, they haven't played with nearly the confidence this year as they're playing right now in this game. They feel and know they're in great position to win this game. Right now, they're 0 for 6 from field goals in this quarter for Utah, but Houston Rockets shooting the lights out from all over the floor.
Willis is going to sit down. That'll be good news for the Jazz, but guess who comes in to replace him? Hakeem Olajuwon. Houston looking like a team that's certainly not the 8th seed, and that's another thing that Rudy Tomjanovich pointed out to his team and to us today. He says, yes, we're the 8th seed because we were 41 and 41, but we're relatively healthy now compared to how we've been all season long, and I don't feel as though we are an 8th seed in terms of talent in this Western playoff, and they are showing it tonight. 63-48, they lead the Jazz with 5 to go in the third period. Russell only gets 1 out of 2. Utah is 9 of 15 from the line tonight. Olajuwon surprised by that pass from Maloney. 8 to shoot. Barkley backing in on the guard Isley. He kicks it out to Elie. Malone and Olajuwon up for the rebound. It's going to be Utah ball. That got the crowd in a little bit.
And that's just a solid play. 2 big guys going after a loose ball. Should have been no call, just like it was.
15-point lead for the Rockets. Malone's pull-up from 16. Will he do it?
Well, if he doesn't.
If he doesn't.
If he's going to have to.
Olajuwon spinning and scoring just that quick, nullifying that field goal.
No double team. Olajuwon, just like Malone, able to take it one-on-one. Nobody can play these 2 guys single coverage.
That was the first Utah field goal in this period with 4 minutes to go. Took them 7.5 minutes to score a single field goal, and the Rockets now can build a 17 or better lead on this possession. Look at the scoring, 14-6. 4 from the free throw line, 1 field goal. Barkley up and under inside. That's the old Charles, and he draws a foul from his former Auburn alum. Well, I guess they're both current alums, to be dramatically accurate, Chris Morris.
But you see how deep he got the ball, and that was the key. He loves the up and under move, and once he gets that deep, Charles is very difficult to guard because he's got such great upper body strength. He can take the contact because he's going to lean on you and then fall back and still get it up on the glass.
So Barkley, who hasn't scored in the game, yes, he did. He hadn't hit until that basket. Will have a chance for a three-point play here. Jerry Sloan continuing to look for answers with Antoine Carr replacing Chris Morris now. Barkley turns it into a three-point play. 18-point Rockets lead. Biggest lead of the ball game. Who'd have thunk it? They've stymied Utah in every department here tonight. Rebounding, fast break points, defense. Malone to the basket, draws the foul.
Well, the Rockets have thought they could play with the Utah Jazz all along. And right now, for the first time, Karl Malone forces the offense and gets to the free throw line.
That's the third on Olajuwon. The crowd cheering Dick Bavetta for making the call. The crowd has not been pleased with the officiating tonight.
But look, this is a play that he hasn't done very often in this game at all. Take the ball on the outside, face it up, and then take it to the middle. Right there, you saw him try to get a foul that he normally gets. Olajuwon played good defense and gave him hands. Consequently, no free throws. And you have to remember, referees have a tendency to let playoff games go a little bit further than they do the regular season.
There's the story of the free throws. As you see, 10 times, 10.1 times. And, of course, he makes about 7.6 of those 10.1 attempts. Those are his first 2 here tonight. And it's a 16-point game, and we have a timeout called by the Houston Rockets with 3:31 to go in the third period from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City.
For sports news and scores around the clock, ask for CNN Sports Illustrated.
You're reading the score right. It's an 18-point Houston lead with 3:31 to go in the period. 1998 playoffs continue on Turner Sports. Tonight on our sister network, TNT. Game 1 of the San Antonio and Phoenix series. That's going on right now. Then tomorrow on TBS, the Knicks and Heat begin their battle. What did Ernie say? Bring your mouthpiece. Followed by Game 1 of that Minnesota-Seattle series. The playoffs continue on TNT and TBS. And Reggie, you're talking about how the officials let them play in the playoffs.
Well, this is one way Malone usually gets to the free throw line, but right here, good movement of the foot by Olajuwon, and I don't think that that was a foul. That's a good no call. Referees have a tendency to let the game play in the playoffs.
14-5 tonight for Karl Malone. Still not a bad night. With 3:28 to go in the third, he could certainly heat up and improve on those numbers and show something like he did in the regular season. Brian Russell deflected that pass. 10 to shoot. Olajuwon working on Antoine Carr. Carr got that ball. Knocked it loose to Howard Isaac. Jazz is one of the rare fast breaks, but all 5 Houston players were back. Hornacek had to throw that ball up. No call from Clark on Drexler holding on to Brian Russell, and the fans are about to get rowdy here at the Delta Center. They do not like the way the officiating has gone. Isley's runner in the lane. Intimidated, missed it. Olajuwon's present being a factor here. Oh, Jerry Sloan is about one more no call from a technical, in my opinion. He did lead the league in technicals this year with 27.
Oh, look at the drop.
Barkley, that's the old Charlie.
Oh, did he bait him to the left and drop it sweetly back behind him on the right side and then use the left.
18-point Rockets lead. Charles has 5 points. They've all come in this period. Brent Price about to check back into the game as Karl Malone missed the jumper. Jerry Sloan can't believe his eyes. Rockets can build a 20-point lead with a bucket here. It's all told in the face of Jerry Sloan, and that shot right there. 10 to shoot. Drexler. Malone with the rebound. His 6th of the ball game.
A lot of times when you come out aggressive, the referees sort of get into your flow of game. The Houston Rockets came out because of Kevin Willis and was aggressive and being physical from the start. Right now, really just playing tough, hard-nosed basketball.
And one for Antoine Carr. He was fouled by Barkley. That was the classic give and go, and Hornacek has words for Dick Bavetta. He called the foul. Barkley picks up the personal. And Antoine Carr will shoot the free throw. He's a 78% shooter.
This is a great give-and-go basketball play. Right now, look at the nice roll. And really, Barkley does the right thing. You're not supposed to try to give up any type of layups under these circumstances. I know Barkley was pointing at his head, but I bet he was saying to himself, I should have fouled him harder. Not to hurt him, but just make sure he doesn't make the layup.
Antoine has 5 points off the bench. It's a 15-point Rockets lead with a minute 39 to go in the period. The score at halftime was 51-44. A 6-point lead by the Houston Rockets. Drexler on the drive, draws the foul.
And I tell you what, the Houston Rockets, every time they get it down that low post, the last 3 or 4 times in this game, they have got action because of the weak defensive effort by the Utah Jazz on their post defense.
Drexler at 13, 6 in this period. Money at the free throw line. What kind of coaches, you look at Charles, what kind of coach you think Clyde's going to be at Houston?
Well, I think Clyde, he's got a great demeanor. He's got a great demeanor, but he knows basically one way to play, and that's up and down. Houston Cougars, that's the way they like to play. He obviously set that pace. Would be a great coach for that school.
They may also restart the fraternity that hasn't been in effect at Houston since he played there, the Phi Sigma Gamma. Barkley comes away with the loose ball. Nice pass to Ellie. Ellie wanted to slam, was pushed from behind. Brian Russell.
Smart play by Charles Barkley. Gives it up at the right moment for Mario Ellie. Going to the basket right here. Watch Charles give it up right in rhythm. Mario, all he has to do is go straight to the bucket. And I don't know what the fans were crying about because that was an obvious foul. And they're lucky they didn't call a breakaway.
Utah with only 11 points in this quarter with a minute 10 to go. In case you're wondering, in playoff lows, they were held to 8 by the Lakers back in '88, but it's the lowest since then. 11 Utah points in this period. It's just amazing to me. Rockets by 19 with a minute 8 remaining in the period. This is the third. Isley has not been as effective tonight as he has been in the past. Olajuwon with yet another block.
And you see when things are going well from the perimeter and on the break, sometimes the defense picks up. Sometimes the offense starts the defense, and sometimes the defense starts the offense.
Price, that's a long-range 3 attempt. It was, you can tell it was long-range.
That was a long-range brick, Bob.
Russell all the way. It's blocked by Olajuwon. Into the hands of Brett Price. That was his 6th block. Drexler. Fouled hard. Both Malone and Drexler went to the floor very hard. The former Dream Team members. Houston is on fire tonight. Malone has 3 personals now. Defense started at the beginning of this ball game, imposing their will on the Utah Jazz.
And right now, the Utah Jazz trying to take it to Dream, cleaning it, swiping all that weak stuff out of there. And then, of course, coming down on the other end, it opens up the game for the Houston Rocket running game. Clyde Drexler on the break. A lot of contact, an obvious foul by Karl Malone.
And Drexler the free throw line. Karl Malone struggling here tonight. Karl Malone's numbers, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Akeem goes to the bench. And Charles Jones is in. The 41-year-old Charles Jones of the Jones family, 15th year in the league. He saw you come into the league, Reggie.
We were talking about it earlier, how I'm always very comfortable with the Houston Rockets because I played with and against a lot of these guys. And they even got a guy older than me on their team, Charles Jones.
10 to shoot, 13 seconds in the period. Nobody seems to get an open look for Houston coming for the Utah Jazz. Malone gets it inside and scores and one. That was big with 6 seconds to go in the period.
Well, that's the presence of Olajuwon on the bench right now. They have to give the guy a rest. And Karl Malone getting deep into the guts of the Houston defense right there off of the pick and the little pin in the middle. He does that so well. He's one of the best in the league at coming off the pick and sealing the defense behind him, get great offensive position.
Charles Jones got 1 minute, goes back to the bench, committed that foul. Eddie Johnson's in with 6 seconds, of course, for the firepower. He's talking to Clyde Drexler right now about their plans after the free throws by Malone with 6 seconds in the period. It is an 18-point Rockets lead. Drexler's going to be open for the shot. It's a three. It's good. Nobody covered Drexler, and he nails the triple, and that gives the Rockets their biggest lead of the game. Clyde has 20 points.
Just a big mistake by the Jazz, going for the ball and then leaving Clyde Drexler open with 6 seconds on the clock. There's plenty of time to make something happen. Of course, Clyde can shoot it when he's in his rhythm.
20 points tonight for Clyde Drexler. What a game he's had. He had 7 points in the first 10 minutes of the ball game.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta here on opening night of the NBA playoffs. A live look at what's going on right now. Houston leading by 21 over Utah here on TBS as they go to the fourth quarter. Meantime, on TNT right now, the Spurs and Suns are playing. 46-37 is the Phoenix lead. You can catch that on TNT. Now let's go back to the Delta Center. Bob and Reg.
Thanks, Ernie. How about these numbers? In that period, Houston outscored Utah 28-14. The Jazz only shot 19% field goals, only 3 of 16, and the Rockets' biggest lead of the game to begin the final 12 minutes, a lead of 21 points as Ostertag starts this quarter on the floor for Utah. Jerry Sloan looking for answers. Double team on Carr, 3 pumps, and Antoine scores.
Antoine Carr can do those kind of things, but what has happened in this game so far is the Jazz have allowed the Rockets to come out here and really believe. They said it, but now they really believe they can win.
Brent Price just hit his 4th three-point shot of this ball game. A Rockets 22-point lead. Do the Utah Jazz, with the best record in the NBA, the 1997-98 season, do they have it in them to make a 22-point deficit run here in this fourth quarter? Ostertag, nice play by the big man from Kansas, who hasn't played much in this game, just short minutes in the first half. He has 4 points.
Houston Rockets have to be aware that they're shooting the ball well, but a big part of their game in that third quarter was the post-up, as Charles going to right now.
Illegal defense is the call on the Utah Jazz. You know, one of the things Rudy Tomjanovich was concerned about his team was the way they've been fading this season, and against the Utah Jazz in particular in the fourth quarter. Here, though, they do have fade room.
Here they have a lot of fade room, but what happens is they start playing not to lose instead of being aggressive, trying to do the right thing. A lot of times what happens is they keep continuing to shoot long perimeter shots, and when that starts to fade, things change. Right now, they're playing a very smart basketball game.
98 playoffs continue on Turner Sports. San Antonio, Phoenix over on TNT. Tomorrow on TBS, the Knicks and Heat begin their battle, followed by Game 1 on the Minnesota-Seattle series. The playoffs continue on TNT and TBS. Ostertag with a foul. Shandon Anderson, Greg Ostertag, Brian Russell, Antoine Carr, and Howard Isley are on the floor for the Jazz. None of the Utah starters are on the floor, so Jerry Sloan is going to the bench to see if he can get something happen. See Malone and Foster sitting there.
On so many other occasions, their bench has been the reason they've won games, and Jerry Sloan has great confidence in their second unit.
Well, mentally, the Utah Jazz were not ready to play for whatever the reason.
Absolutely. And I still love the way Kevin Willis came out and set the tempo for this game for the Houston Rockets.
Willis trying to defend Ostertag now. He's got a pushing foul. It's going to be against Houston. See, that's what the bench production usually is for the Utah Jazz. You see how productive they are in the minutes they play. But tonight, they've been about all there was. That's the 4th foul on Willis, who has, by the way, 19 rebounds tonight. No, make that 14 rebounds tonight. 19 sounds like Robert. Isley, pull up over Brent Price. Every shot contested. Antoine Carr with the board and the putback. Antoine has 9. He's been productive off the bench. Rockets by 19, 10 minutes to go. Charles Barkley, who's played well in this period. Looks like he's loosened up from his strained groin, backing in. Carr. Once he gets down that low, Barkley's tough. Go to the line.
Bob, you see how he baited him, though? Dribble, crab, dribble, crab, dribble. Makes the defense make a commitment and then goes whichever opposite direction the defense stabs at it. Check him out.
Barkley.
Crab dribble and then just spin tightly to the bucket, and then not on the weak side, but on the strong side, layup.
Houston leads by 19. They led by as many as 21 points. It's surprising almost everybody, but it's not surprising Charles Barkley. This is what he told us right before the game.
I honestly believe we're going to win this series. I honestly do.
Well, usually the Houston Rockets do a lot of talking. Tonight, they're backing it up with some serious play on the basketball floor.
And Charles Barkley has been instrumental in terms of his rebounding and his effort on the floor in that third quarter when Houston outscored Utah 28-14. It was Willis early, Barkley getting involved now. 6 blocks in this game by Akeem Olajuwon.
No question, and Barkley being unselfish, not having a lot of confidence in his offense, but certainly giving it up and then taking it down in the low post and making things happen. This is his 4th trip into that low post and 4th time making something happen, either a basket or free throws.
And hitting the free throws. Playing with that sports hernia, he was going to have surgery on it this year. But when Akeem Olajuwon had to go out and all the other injuries started mounting up, Charles said, I'm going to try to play through the injury. It has definitely caused a deterioration in his game this year, but as he told us also before the game, he feels he's played well.
But he was out here playing one-on-one basketball before the game, trying to test it out, and he looked pretty good then. Charles wants a ring so bad, you think he had any chance of not coming out and giving it a shot. And hitting a few jumpers early really helps all of that.
Malone is fouled by Willis on that jumper. That's 5 fouls on Kevin Willis. 9:34 to go in the game. If the Jazz are to make a run, it'll have to start here. Kevin Willis has 5 fouls, and Olajuwon's going to come in and replace him. Time for a Home Depot game summary. You see the score there. If you're tuning in late, that's right. Houston 85, Utah 64. Drexler has played a game, a very complete game tonight. Good defense by the Houston Rockets, holding the Jazz to only 14 points in that third period.
Kevin Willis a little bit excited, a little too much hustle on that last play. Has to know his foul situation. Malone not having a great offensive night. You got to let him make a couple of those before you go out there and challenge him that far out. That was about a 19-footer.
18 and 14 tonight for Kevin. He said to Olajuwon as he came up, hold him for me. It's usually the other way.
I tell you what, and the last few times the Utah Jazz have tried to go to the bucket, Olajuwon has just done that. Smacked it out of the basket.
Malone has 19 points tonight, and they have been hard to come by. Rockets by 19 with 9:31 to go. Does Utah have any defense in them tonight? Barkley over Malone. Rebound, Anderson to John Stockton. Back on the floor. Shandon Anderson, Stockton, Oster tag. Malone and Brian Russell on the floor. And one. That's a big play. That's only the 6th point in this game for John Stockton. He has only 4 assists tonight.
And one of the few fast break opportunities here in a little secondary offense, taking the action to the middle. John Stockton, one of the best in the league at drawing the contact and fading off and still getting the shot off.
He has missed all his free throws tonight, but Malone runs down the loose ball. It was the first foul of the ball game on Brent Price. See if Stockton can work on him again here. He does. All the way to the hoop for the late. Price, no answer for Stockton. Well, that's 4 points in about 5 seconds of playing time, and now the Jazz have pulled it within 15. The crowd wanting a run on their feet here at the Delta Center.
Now this is really going to test the Rockets and their ability to sustain, because you have to assume that the Jazz are going to make some type of run.
The runner by Eddie Johnson, he's fouled.
And this may be where the great experience on the floor and playoff experience comes in, because you have to assume the competitors that the Utah Jazz are, they're going to make a run. Can the Houston Rockets hold them off and continue to play their game? They're playing Houston Rocket basketball right now, and they have to continue that to maintain this lead.
Brian Russell picked up the personal foul. Eddie Johnson hits the free throw. Eddie Johnson has been known as the Jazz killer, only has 4 points in this game tonight. Make it 5. 8:43 to go. It's a 17-point Rockets lead. Brian Russell was distracted. Look at that great play by John Stockton. Brian Russell missed the three. Rebound Anderson puts it back. He missed it but drew the foul. Brian Russell was distracted by the intense defense been playing on him. And when Stockton made the pass to him, he wasn't ready to get it. And that's what started that whole thing. There's the Stockton save of the over and back.
That was a tremendous save by John Stockton. But I thought the save by Brian Russell equally as good, going out of bounds after it had touched his hand. That's why he had to go after it. And then John Stockton showing some real athleticism and a little bit of hang time to get that play back into action.
Utah Jazz shooting a measly 65% at the line. Shandon Anderson misses them both. They are 15 of 24. The Jazz from the line tonight, they are the NBA's #1 free throw shooting team in the regular season. 10 seconds on the clock for Houston, 8-11 in the game. Elijah Wan can't shoot it over Ostertag at 7-2, 4-3, 2. Got 3 seconds in the lane called by Ed Middleton, and that'll be the Utah ball. Trailing by 17, 8 minutes to go. Crowd urging them on here. I told you earlier, in their entire playoff history, the Utah Jazz in first-round games played at home are 26-1 in game 1. And how about this if they were to lose this? Utah is 14-13 all-time in first-round game 2s at home.
That's big time. This crowd tonight just waiting. You can feel busting at the seams to cheer about something. All they need is a little bit of spurt by the Utah Jazz.
And a reminder, in progress on TNT, Spurs and Phoenix. Phoenix leading in that game by 7. We invite you to channel flip as much as you want between TBS and TNT in this first round of the playoff. We have quadruple headers on for you virtually every night. Stockton gets the free throws this time. Back to a 15-point deficit for Utah with 7:53 to go. But remember, this is a poised, battle-tested Houston Rockets team. Drexler. Good defense by Shandon Anderson. Barkley backing in again. Kicks it back to Drexler. Air ball, Russell with it. 7:34 to go in the game.
If you're going to milk the clock like that, you can come up with a better shot than a long jumper.
Brian Russell, and one. Elijah Wan picked up his 4th personal foul.
Brian Russell on the move, making things happen after a long, ill-advised shot by the Houston Rockets. If you're going to milk the clock, which is important at this juncture in the ball game, you don't want to end up taking long jumpers. You milk the clock, you got to come up with a solid look at the bucket.
11-2 Utah run, timeout Houston. It is now a Rockets lead of 12. Do the Jazz have a come-from-behind victory in them tonight? Time for tonight's Dutch Boy in the paint. Well, in the paint has been, Houston's done it everywhere. From beyond the arc in the first half, in the paint tonight, have the 1 rebound edge. Kevin Willis has just had a rebounding night and a scoring night at 18 and 14. Malone only 8 boards, but he has 19 points. And we do have 7:29 remaining in this game, and both teams are in the penalty the rest of the way.
Right now, the Houston Rockets have to get back into their post-up game, making things happen. They got several good looks down at that low post, allowing the defense to come, or when the defense doesn't come, you have to really be able to read the defense.
Elijah Wan goes to the free throw line. He's a 76% shooter this year.
Now, the difference in the game, early in the game, the Houston Rockets did well with Elijah Wan in the post, on the perimeter. Late in this game, they've done well with Barkley and Willis down in the low post, making things happen.
Check in with D-line.
Bob, when we went into that Utah huddle, Jerry Sloan liking their position at 7.5 minutes to play and only down 12, said it's going to happen at the defensive end. On the flip side, Houston saying to each other, don't panic. We are still the ones with the 12-point lead. Bob?
Stockton's runner, thank you, D. And it's still a 12-point lead. 7:03 to go. John has 12. to go with his 4 assists and 3 boards tonight. Both teams in the penalty. We'll be seeing free throws here the rest of the way. Olajuwon defended well by the 7-2 Ostertag. 8 on the shot clock. Into Olajuwon. Ostertag reached on again. Good Ostertag play there. Barkley with the board.
Barkley relentless on the boards. Olajuwon really did have a better shot if he would have taken the ball to the bucket when he first caught it, but elected to shoot that fadeaway. Really cost him probably an easy bucket. Barkley on the offensive boards. Karl Malone trying to stop him, grab him by the arm.
That's 4 personal fouls on Karl Malone. Charles numbers tonight in limited minutes. There was a question even today as to whether Charles would even be able to play, but when we saw him before the game, he said, absolutely, I'll play. And not only that, we're going to win the game.
John Stockton cutting it, making things happen. You saw Olajuwon backing off when he probably should have stepped up. When you step up on John Stockton, Stockton probably would have looked to Ostertag for a layup, but that's when you have to have the backline rotation to stop that interior passing.
13-point lead now for the Rockets on that miss by Barkley. 6:35 to go in the game. Clock the enemy for the Jazz. Stockton penetrating in the lane again. 2-2. Shandon Anderson tries to pass it inside to Ostertag. Malone missed the layup. Shandon Anderson wrestles it with Olajuwon. That'll be a jump ball. The opportunities cannot be wasted for Utah here.
No, not at all. Every possession right now, very important. Every defensive stop, very important for the Utah Jazz.
Jazz will have to steal this tip because Olajuwon will win it.
And look to the Jazz.
And they do. And Malone in for the lay-in.
Smart basketball, Bob. Just have a way to get things done. Look to the Utah Jazz to go their bread and butter offensively, going to that pick and roll. But first, they have to make some major stops on the offensive end down here.
Crowd in this game now. Houston turnover. Rockets by 11, 6 minutes to go. A score by the Utah Jazz on this possession makes it a single-digit ball game. That was the 12th turnover tonight for Houston. There have been 12 by Utah. Stockton in the lane. The kick out to the corner. Does anybody have one tonight? Shandon Anderson has the triple. It's an 8-point lead. Timeout, Houston.
And that's giving them something to cheer about. Stockton always able to find that open guy.
Shandon Anderson, the first Jazz player to hit this open shot tonight. Houston's 21-point lead has been cut to 8. Shandon Anderson made it happen with a little assist from Bavetta.
I tell you what, they probably should have re-tipped this. Nobody got that ball, and then they end up stealing it. Nice play for the Utah Jazz. But right here, come and help defense Eddie Johnson, but he leaves Shandon Anderson wide open. That's a shot they got early in the game in the first half, but couldn't hit it. Second half, in a big-time play, Shandon Anderson knocks down the big 3.
Jazz fans on their feet at the Delta Center. 90-82. Jazz led only one time briefly. 14-13. Ellie on the drive. His runner doesn't go. Rebound. Brian Russell. Olajuwon almost stepped on John Stockton. No foul. No damage. No foul. Houston has not scored a field goal in the last 6 minutes. Inside. Ostertag. Should have had that jam. Took him too long to get up. The foul, and he'll have to go to the line, where he is only a 49% free throw shooter.
Great help by Charles Barkley, making Stockton go way out of the way. But then Ostertag in the middle. Mario Elie had a chance to play him in the middle, but really worried about Stockton's ability to get the ball to the perimeter guys. Left the most vulnerable, most dangerous guy open, the one closest to the bucket. Ostertag.
Barkley with the block and the foul, and Ostertag can't make a free throw. I told you he's a 49%er, so that's going to turn out to be a great play by Charles Barkley.
And just great hustle all the way out here on the double team, and then back in there to make the defensive stop, sending Ostertag, a terrible free thrower, to the line.
Utah shooting only 18 of 28 from the line tonight. Missed them both. That could be, if the Jazz don't come back, the play of the game. despite it being a foul. Ostertag all alone for what looked to be an uncontested jam. Took his time, got it blocked, and missed the free throw.
Now, earlier they were playing this.
Ellie for three, over Ostertag. Mario Ellie as Houston rotated the ball around. Hit his three. That's his first three of the night.
And that was a huge shot off of the double team of the Jazz.
That all started when Ostertag missed the jam on the block by Barkley. Malone answers. They're still alive with 4:35 to go. Rockets by 9. Karl has 23.
Right now, they got the Houston Rockets in a scramble situation defensively, and the Jazz are very capable of finding that open man. Really tough to guard under those circumstances.
They're milking this Barkley post-up even on Malone. Malone with 4 fouls. Barkley! And one!
I told you earlier, he has a great ability to take the punch and still, with the upper body strength, get the ball up to the rim.
Malone's 5th foul, and Barkley now has 10 points in this game, all in the second half.
And he baited him into the foul by crab dribbling to the middle, allowing the defense to draw contact, taking it to him, and then falling back and got the nice little roll on the rim.
We'll go back to that Ostertag block. Ostertag missed that rebound, not to be just on him, but he's had some problems here in this 4th quarter. When Ostertag had the dunk blocked by Barkley and then missed the free throws, that's when Houston found new life. Had he scored that, it would have cut the lead to only 6. It's now 11. Barkley fouled.
Earlier in this quarter, they were playing Barkley's single coverage, and he burned him. They bring the double team. He waits patiently and still able to burn him by making fouls. Right there, very difficult to see whether he got ball or hand, but the referee right on top of the play.
Charles Barkley, a surefire future Hall of Famer, one of the top 50 players, has had a less than Barkley-like season this year. He said, you know, I used to be a great player in his own modest way. But now, with my injuries and my age, I am only a good player, but I am still a dangerous player. He said it all right. He's got a big ego, but he also speaks the truth about himself.
But there's no question he hit it right on the head. Very capable player of getting 30 points and grabbing your 15 boards at any time.
And the Rockets rebuild their lead to 12 with 3:52 to go. Malone on the drive. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Going to be a lot of Utah complaining about officiating in this game. 10-point Rockets lead. 3:32 remaining. Shot clock over on the left, 10 on the shot clock. Olajuwon being defended by Antoine Carr. Ellie gets past Hornacek, uncontested for the lay-in. Ellie beat Hornacek on the curl and went down the lane, had the nice pass. He has 10, and now there's 3:14 to go. The Rockets up by 12. Looking for inside again, this time to Hornacek. Quick basket.
That's just great patience by the Rockets offensively, and then Stockton showing us why he's one of the best at threading the needle down the pipe.
Clyde's going to milk it a little bit, I think. 2:57 to go in the ballgame. Into Olajuwon. They're not milking it much. Olajuwon kicks to Ellie on the drive. 8 on the shot clock. Yeah, they're getting all they can get out of this shot clock. Olajuwon with 5. Up and under. And the bucket. They used the whole shot clock down to 23 seconds were gone on that clock before Olajuwon scored. 16 points for Akeem tonight. 12-point Rockets lead. Kick ball, new 24.
And that was an excellent reset by Akeem Olajuwon, kicking it back out and then getting the big fella the ball again. They're playing him single coverage, and he's waiting on the defense. And then, offensively, the Rockets are moving without the ball, and that's something they hadn't been doing.
See the timeouts, no team with a foul to give. Matt Maloney. Hawked by Stockton. 2:19 to go. A 12-point Rockets lead. Houston calls timeout. If the Houston Rockets are to hold on to this game tonight, things fit very well. Houston has won all 17 playoff series when they win Game 1. Houston by 12 with 2:16 to go, and as you see, Houston has won all 17 playoff series they've been in when they win game 1. They have a 12-point lead here. Looking back again on 8 versus 1 since 1984, the only team to do it. And you remember the great shot of Dikembe Mutombo laying on the floor in Denver after that big upset over Seattle. Now, on the flip side, Utah has not lost a game 1 at home since 1989. That's 9 playoff series. They're in jeopardy of losing this one.
And Bob, the big thing tonight has been the way the Houston Rockets have shot from the three-point line. They're 10 for 22, shooting 48% from that spot. Big time.
It's not going to happen for the Utah Jazz tonight. You can see that as the shot clock ticks down to 10 seconds. Minute 49 to go in the game. Game 2 is here on Saturday. Drexler.
Oh, just too soft. Too high and too soft.
Yeah, that hurt even more. Stockton's pull-up 3. Remember the 3 that eliminated Houston in Game 6 of last year's Western Conference Finals. It was a shot similar to that, but indicated how this game has gone. Stockton couldn't put it down. Spurs Suns on TNT right now.
Well, I tell you what, not many people have given the Houston Rockets much of a chance coming into this game 1, Bob. But if nobody believed in themselves, the Houston Rockets believed they could do it, and they came out here, put it on the floor, and really have outplayed the Utah Jazz in every phase of the game, except maybe for a stretch of about 5 minutes in this 4th quarter.
Barkley misses the free throw, but what a courageous night for Charles tonight. The first bit of courage was when Charles predicted in our pregame interview that Houston would win this game. And we played it for you a few minutes ago, and he said it very simply, without his usual braggadocio. He just said, we will win the game. And they're gonna. 103-88 with a minute 35 to go.
He looks over here and says, I told you.
Let's talk about Utah, and they're coming back in game 2. That's a foul on the 3, so that'll be 3 free throws. Too little, too late, I think. But I told you that in the first round series, Utah is only 14 and 13 in game 2s at home in their first round series. So now they'll go down 0-1 and face the fact that they've lost a lot of game 2s.
Well, the first thing that happens is that becomes flip-flop now, because what happens is because they usually win that first one, they have a little letdown in the second one. They're not going to come out and show the same type of effort and intensity in game 2 as we saw tonight at the beginning of this game. They were a little bit flat, not sure offensively, and then defensively not really able to get to the perimeter players, a little slow at foot, and then the Houston Rockets shooting 48% from the three-point line was real big tonight.
And even more importantly, how about the defense that Houston played? Holding, for most of the quarter, holding Utah to only about 11 points in the entire 3rd quarter. They got 3 more right at the end of that period. Utah, the 3rd leading offensive team in the NBA this year, with 101 points per game.
And the start of this game was set by the tone of Kevin Willis. Came out with biceps and forearms, making things happen offensively and really putting the clamps down on Karl Malone defensively.
Over on TNT, we've got a close one going on with San Antonio and Phoenix over on our sister network. This ball game is yesterday's news. 103-90, 1 minute to go in the game. Drexler gets the feed. He'll have the foul.
The whole night, the Houston Rockets have been the aggressors offensively and defensively. Case in point right there, shot clock running down, passing the ball around the perimeter, and Clyde Drexler taking it to the hole, not settling for the long jumpers that they have done in the past in the 4th quarter. This has been a Houston Rockets style basketball game from the start.
22 points, 6 assists tonight for Drexler.
And they have done what they came to do, Bob. Just take one in a short series. They still got to go to Houston. Now they're guaranteed 1 extra game.
Antoine Carr. He gave him some spark off the bench, but nobody else has been able to do anything that famed, I think, one of the best second units, certainly one of the top 3 second units in the NBA is the Utah Jazz. Weren't able to do it tonight. Well-prepared Rudy Tomjanovich team.
Well, he said he wasn't sure what was going to happen with his team, but when you have 3 future Hall of Famers that can come out and give you time, and you have not played to your full potential the whole season, you know there's a couple of other levels that you can go to, and today the Houston Rockets went right there.
23 seconds of the game, and speaking of bench, the Rockets bench 41 points tonight. The Jazz bench only 30. So Utah's going to be stunned here. They certainly have the home court advantage taken away now. It becomes even. There'll be 2 games at each place for the rest of this series. And Barkley and Elijah Wan hugging it, celebrating. Barkley looking over at us and said, "I told you so." Yes, Charles, in fact, you did tell us so. The Houston Rockets upset the Jazz, really leading all the way, except for one brief 14-13 lead in the first period by Utah. 103-90. Rockets by 13 points. And Charles Barkley was not the star of the game tonight in terms of his production, rebounding, or point total, but he certainly was a motivating force in this basketball game. Spurs Suns next. Got a close one going on. Not next. They're over on TNT. It's in progress right now. Let's go to D.
Thank you, Bob. Charles, is it presumptuous for me to say that you felt pretty good out there because your health was in question?
I felt pretty good. I got really tired and missed some really bad, stupid free throws. I got to do better the next game. But I just want to help. Everybody chipped in. I don't think anybody on our team played great, but everybody did a little bit. They got a terrific team. I think one thing to help us, everybody said we was going to get swept, and that's going to help us in the long run. We weren't going to get swept. But, you know, it's great to have we have nothing to lose. The Jazz expected to win the championship. We expect to go home in 3. I had already gone plan vacation next week, but I had to cancel those plans.
You said before the game that you felt very confident in those uncertain terms we will win this series.
Well, I said that we played them 3 games where we had to lead with less than 5 minutes to go. They blew us out one time when they called us on a back-to-back night. But the other 3 games, we always had to lead with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And Coach says, hey, if we got to lead with 5 minutes to go, I'll take my chances.
Very good. Thank you for taking the time. We'll look forward to Saturday. Bob, Charles with 12 points and 6 rebounds tonight. I think he's feeling pretty healthy.
Absolutely. Charles Barkley with the predictions, and they came true tonight. Happy victory for the Houston Rockets tonight over the Utah Jazz, 103-90.
The NBA playoffs on TBS. Brought to you by the Coors Light Wide Mouth Can. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour. By Lexus. The future of Lexus is here. Fasten your seatbelts. By Honda Motorcycles. Celebrating 50 years with great deals during Honda Dream Days. And by Nike.
Drexler, Willis, and Elijah.